Hi guys, welcome back to the In Real Life channel, and I'm finally going to do the video that you all asked for on my Twitter page, which was that I did Patrick's birth story. I haven't yet even blogged about his stay in intensive care, just because, like, you know when you can't articulate yourself, that's how I feel with that. Like, his stay was, if you're not aware, he was born 4 weeks prematurely, and my waters had been gone since 30 weeks. So, and also we actually think he was more premature than they thought. We think his due date was wrong. So he was in intensive care for a week, and it was like the worst time of our lives. So trying to get that down, like, not necessarily on paper but on our blog, on my blog, is very hard. So I do apologise that I've kind of neglected to talk about that, but it will come around eventually. But his birth story is much easier to explain and much easier to talk about because it was really straightforward and a really normal and nice birth. Not nice. No birth to me anyway, in my opinion, is ever like nice. Well, yeah, it is nice, but it's not comfortable, let's say. So Patrick was born by an induction. Like I mentioned previously, my waters had gone, so I knew I was being induced, and when I was 36 weeks exactly. So yeah, I was 36 weeks exactly, or so we thought, when I went in to have Patrick. I was given an induction, which was straightforward. It was a prostaglandin pessary, because I know there's all kind of different ones you can have, and it was 6 hours. I was, if you have never been induced or don't know how an induction goes, but you're basically monitored, check baby's okay, given the pessary, monitored again to make sure baby hasn't reacted kind of a bit wild to it. So everything was fine, monitored, everything went well, and it was a 6-hour pessary, so if nothing happened within 6 hours, they were going to have a look and try and break my waters, and then if they couldn't, I would be put on a drip. It was a bit more of a quicker induction process, like they kind of skip a few steps because it was kind of really urgent that he came out. So, and that's because of my waters going and risk of infection. So had the pessary, monitored, told to kind of go downstairs and walk around, which we did, and even almost instantly going downstairs, I felt crampy and I felt kind of pressure down there. Because this is my second birth, I knew this time what everything was, and I was a lot more kind of confident in my own thoughts about how I felt and how I thought things were going. So I was very keen. My mum was very much like, come on, let's walk around, let's go for a jog. She didn't ever suggest go for a jog, but they both, her and John, because they were my birth partners, wanted me to walk around, and I was very reluctant. I kind of knew something was happening, so I was like, oh yeah, whatever, like, I'm not walking around, I'm not making this any harder for myself or gonna tire myself out because I'm gonna have a long night ahead of me, because I didn't have my pessary till 6 p.m, so by this point it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I feel like I'm talking really fast, but I don't want to do like a really long video, and I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So I apologise if it does end up being quite rambly or fast or drawn out. I do apologise. So I had the pessary, and I remember being sat downstairs outside because it was one of the hottest days of the year, and we were just kind of people watching. We saw a lot of parenting fails that day. There was like a little girl who was outside of the hospital by herself, no parent in sight, just running around the car park, and she was only about 4. It was really scary. But you know, you just can't take your eyes off something because you almost feel a little bit obliged to like look out for them. That's how we felt. So we sat outside, and my mum and John both kept saying, can you feel anything? Can you feel anything? And I remember kind of talking to a few people on Twitter at the time, and they were giving me my advice. There was a girl, Sophie, from Momology, I want to say her Twitter handle is. She works in like a midwife unit, I do believe, and she was saying like, judging by how I explained my pains to her, what time she thought I'd give birth at, and she was actually really quite accurate, which was good. So if you're in labour, speak to her. So anyway, yeah, she kind of estimated I think I'd give birth at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, really? Because it was like 9 o'clock at this point, and I thought surely not. But we went back to the room about 10:30 or 11 and just kind of chilled out, and, you know, met my new midwife, because by that point there'd been a changeover in shifts, and I was starting to feel a bit uncomfortable by this point. I could still talk, I could still get up and get about. I wasn't like screaming or anything. I could feel waves of contractions, whereas with Noah it was more a constant, but this time they were coming and they were going. And I remember the midwife saying, oh, okay, I'll check you. And she did. She checked me and I think I was 2 centimetres. And she said, okay, I'll check you again in an hour. They don't want to check you too much when your waters have gone because of risk of infection. So she checked me again at, I think it was about 12 o'clock. And she said, yeah, you're about 4 centimetres, so I'm going to see if I can break your waters, which she managed to do. I actually think she was a student midwife, and she was a bit like, I don't think I'll try and break your waters, but she went off and spoke to like her senior who advised to do so, and she managed to break them, which was good. But there was blood in my waters. I don't know what that means, because and you normally only hear about there being meconium in your waters, but it was blood in mine. So she managed to break them anyway, and everything was fine. And after that, they definitely kicked up a notch. She gave me gas and air as well, because anytime she examined me, it was really painful. That was the most painful part of the whole labour, was my examinations. So I was given gas and air, and I remember I thought I had something on my teeth. I must have kind of forgot that like I was 4 centimetres, because I took the gas and air, and I remember like thinking, oh, I better not use it because she's going to take it back off me in a minute, because I'm not far enough to have it. I'm not enough centimetres. But she didn't, and my mum was like, use it, it's fine. And when she examined me, I took so much of it that I felt so weird. I remember led back, and John must have been about 15 centimetres from my face, and I was looking at him and it felt like he was just like out of this world, like not like, oh, you're out of this world, but like he felt really far away, and it was really surreal. I felt like I was having some kind of out-of-body experience. It was so strange, and it made me a bit wary. I don't feel like I used the gas and air properly after that, because I was a bit frightened. I don't like feeling not myself, and it definitely made me feel not myself. So then it was about 1, 2 in the morning, and my contractions on the little monitor, because when you are induced, unfortunately, you have to be monitored the whole time because you're high risk. So I was, and they were going up to like 70 and 80 and 90, which was good because I knew something was happening, but it was bad because I was in a lot of pain. And yeah, the midwife, I kept taking water because the gas and air was drying my mouth out, and the midwife kept insisting that I drink Lucozade, which was infuriating to me because Lucozade was just making my mouth stickier, and I just wanted water. And she was like, no, the baby's slowing down, the gas and air slowing him down, which is just ridiculous. The baby was slow because he was a premature baby, and he was small and he was weak, so that's why the baby was slowing down. And time went on, and we carried on with gas and air, and then I remember saying that I needed to push. It was at like 4 o'clock. She seemed very reluctant that I really needed to push. It was kind of like, okay, I'll check, I'll see if the head's descending. But she kept going away and doing something when I had the contraction, and she'd come back when the contraction had finished and then look and say, no, nothing's happening. And I got really annoyed at this point, and I was like, will you come and look? And so she did, and she said, oh, I think we have a baby on the way, which I thought, thank God, because I literally thought I was going crazy. So she pressed the button for the other midwives, because I was going to be premature, baby was going to be premature, they would need a baby doctor in the room, but he came so quickly that they didn't have time to get the baby doctor in the room, which I do find a bit annoying, because I feel like had the baby doctor been in the room when he was born, things might have been picked up quicker. Anyway, we'll get onto that in another video. So they didn't really instruct me what to do at this point, which I preferred when they did do that. In my birth with Noah, when I started pushing, they were very much like, push, breathe, do this, even though I'd have a baby before, like, I've only done something once. That's like you getting in a car driving once, and then after that someone's like, okay, just go and drive, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I definitely feel like I needed that bit of guidance. But either way, I remember them saying, his head's out, and no one told me to breathe, but I was so conscious of not tearing again that I just panted, and then he was born. At the time where his head came out, the midwife asked John to raise the bed, meaning to raise the bed up like this. However, John decided to raise the back of the bed when I was already sat up on the bed, and it was agony. I don't know how I managed to not punch John in the face at that point, but had I punched him in the face at that point, I think I would have broke his jaw, because when you're in that much pain, like, it's bad. It was bad. But I still remind him of that now, and he feels really bad. He also broke my phone during labour by sitting on it, which was really irritating. But anyway, let's not make this a John bashing video. So Patrick was born, and he was all healthy at that point, and he weighed £6.9 they told me, but actually afterwards when we converted it ourselves we worked out it was £6.5, and I just remember saying they passed him up onto me, and I remember thinking I haven't got a bald baby, because it was just something, everyone has those things that they want for their baby, whether they want them to be tall or want them to have blue eyes, or everyone has things they want, and I just wanted my babies to have hair. And because Noah was born with so much, I was always wary that this baby may not be. I might have like set my expectations high with having Chewbacca in Noah. So I was so happy that he had hair, although at the front it kind of hasn't grown, so he does look like he's got a bit of a receding hairline. But never mind, he had hair, so I was happy about that. And he was healthy at that point, which was the main thing. And yeah, that's how Patrick came into the world. He was born at 4:30 exactly in the morning, which is quite a good time, but also meant I was exhausted because I'd then been up all day and all night again, which is exactly the same as what happened with Noah. I think my boys just like to be born at night, but they are both good sleepers, so maybe babies who are born at night end up being good sleepers. I don't know. So yeah, that's my video, and I hope you enjoyed the birth story. If you would like me to do Patrick's NICU story in a video, I might do. I tried to do it before, but it was just a bit like rambly, so I might do it, as it might be a bit easier than a blog post. I'm not too sure. I'll have to see, but please do comment below and let me know what you would prefer, and I will see you guys on my next video.